Welcome once again to Public Affairs, and our special guest is Dr. Carlos Puente, a well-known international lawyer, an economic and political analyst, and a university professor. Thank you for your time, Dr. Puente.
Thank you very much for inviting me to your program.
The purpose of the program is to be able to inform and help our worldwide audience to better understand the economic situation in our country today. We will request Dr. Puente to explain in a simple way, also giving examples of economic terms that we will ask him to define so that we'll have a better understanding and that we will all be prepared and hence survive any economic downturn. Now, Dr. Puente, we realize that more and more people are relying on their mobile devices. You've mentioned this also in our program. And more we have our computer ruling our lives. How do you see artificial intelligence, the Internet of Things, and technology to be a dominant factor in the economic situation around the globe?
Nowadays, we are living in a world that everything is it depends upon our PC and also the mobile as well. So it's necessary first to have the necessary information, but it's necessary to also to have financial education, at least in a very low level. In my opinion, I do believe that when any student go to school, to the high school, should also receive information about finance in general, how banking is working, how investments, what are some terms, specific terms that later we will read on the newspaper and so. So we have to be ready for these coming years, that everything will depend upon the new techniques, the new technologies, and everything will be under control of some groups. So we have also to protect ourselves from such kind of maneuvers of some big companies, groups that usually can manage our freedom and our decisions.
Mm-hmm. So, as an economic expert, what is your economic forecast for 2018 and beyond?
Well, as some expert already wrote in the past, mainly very well and famous economists, a cycle lasts between 8 and 10, 12 years. It depends upon what's the level of the economy. That means that it is not the same situation all around the world, in all countries. I can see that, for instance, in the United States, they are doing pretty well, mainly after the decisions of changing the monetary policy by the Fed. Well, we left behind the huge crisis. We are already in the 8-7 years, or more or less, it depends upon what we consider the starting point of a crisis. So I can see that 2018 will be a transitional year. But I can consider that if we keep the same situation that in the past year, 2017, that the growth is pretty good, is around 2.9% of GDP, the gross domestic product. That means that our growth, the growth of the economy was by almost 3%. That means that the situation has changed completely from the past 7-8 years. And we, at least myself, I can see that 2018 and 2019 will be a couple of years of transition, but we will be in a more stable situation. But everything depends also on the government policies, the monetary policy and the fiscal policy as well. But also the international relations. We still have some challenges in the United States and also in Europe. I would like to say that, for instance, in Europe, we are behind the United States on this situation. The government of the United States has approved a tax packet which is very positive in terms of savings and to improve investments. We in Europe, we have not taken the same measure yet. Fed, the central banking system in the United States, also has starting raising interest rates. And this is a very appropriate measure. When somebody has, if you, any of somebody from the audience has some money and lends such money to somebody else, they expect to receive something in exchange. Well, this is the same. This is the idea of the interest rate in the economy. If the interest rate, as everyone knows, was zero, that means that almost money was for free. So this is not a realistic situation. So this year, the situation improvement depends on the government policy, as I said, but also will depend on the international economy, the agreements which are presently in force, but also those agreements, commercial agreements, which have been suspended, or those that could involve other situations rather different to the situation of the beginning. And also it depends upon what will happen in the third world some countries, emerging countries like China, like Argentina, like Mexico. So this situation will also affect to the most developed countries, the United States and also European economies. So it depends upon the government situation, the government decision, the government policy, but also the international situation. But in my opinion, the global recovery will continue. I will not say that it will be last in the 2 decades ago, between what has happened between 2000 and 2007. But slowly, we will recover the level, the previous GDP levels, and people will have money in their pockets, so consumption will be improved. So new jobs, there will be in effect the job creations, and also new companies, new small jobs will be created. So this is the way. So that means that the cycle, the business cycle, the crisis that we suffer at that time, we will leave it behind.
Thank you so much, Dr. Puente.